Hey guys, so for a while I have decided to not open my 3 3/4 inch Star Wars figures, and until recently I finally decided, you know what, let's crack them out, let's take a look at them, do some reviews, obviously, as you've seen lately, and we got some new stuff that we thought wasn't even going to come out for a while. This is the Rogue One lines 2-pack with the Shoretrooper Captain and Bistan, and this was supposed to come out a while back. It was kind of in limbo, never came out. The last wave came out. This thing still didn't come out. That last wave was impossible to find. I had to get them on eBay. And then this guy started to pop up for pre-order, and he finally arrived. So let's crack it out. We can see that it's just the standard 2-pack package with some cool artwork. Let's take a look at these figures. All right, so here they are out of the packaging, and for the most part, you're looking at pretty basic 5 POA figures, but it's the fact that we, for the most part, didn't think we were going to get them that makes these a little bit cooler to me. And I was interested to get Bistan for sure, just because he's kind of a weird, relatively unique character. Little monkey man that screams at the camera in Rogue One. And then we've got the Shore Trooper Captain, and I like the Shore Trooper designs. I'm pretty partial to them in general. It's a trooper. They have cool designs. What are you going to do? You can't really argue too much about the cool factor there. So let's take a look at the Shore Trooper first, and we'll look at Bistan second because he has kind of an extra thing that he comes with. So again, this is a pretty basic 5 POA figure. The arms can rotate, the legs can move front and back, and then the head swivels. It's on a ball joint, so you can get a little bit of up motion and then a little down, but not a great deal. It's not going to move too much. As far as the sculpt on this thing goes, I think it's pretty decent. It's pretty much what you come to expect for a 5 POA figure, at least up until now. Pretty decent detailing all over it. A lot of sculpted line work. I don't have any real gripes or complaints about him. He comes with the kind of Shore Trooper issue assault rifle, which has a lot of sculpted detail on it. It's a little bendy, and get it sit in the wrong place and it'll kind of warp over time. So just watch where you put it. Let it sit off to the side of his hand. The skirt piece is a bendy material as well, so you can kick those legs up pretty high and kick them back without worrying about that really getting in the way. It will hinder it a little bit, but if it was any harder, it wouldn't move at all, so that's all right. As far as the paint on him goes, for the most part, everything is pretty straight and where it needs to be. There's a little bit of crooked paint on the mouthpiece on my particular trooper, but that's okay, not a huge deal. This guy, again, is the captain, so he's got the larger amount of blue paint on the shoulder, arm, and the chest and the midriff section. So the squad leader has a blue stripe, and the regular Shore Trooper doesn't have any blue at all, I think. Or if it is, it's an even smaller amount. Either way, this guy gets more blue. I do prefer this particular look for the Shore Trooper. I like the colors breaking up, the kind of monotonous tan color. And he also has the little pouch on his belt down here as well, like an additional ammo canister or something like that. So yeah, pretty decent figure. He's not, mind-blowing or anything, but I like the design, so I am okay with how this one turned out. So let's take a look at the Monkey Man now. All right, so here is Bistan on his own, and this guy is obviously a unique figure. He is pretty much one of a kind. I don't know that we saw, I mean, there might be others of him. I don't know that we saw any in the movie, but he is, for the most part, just a kind of squatty, smaller figure. Let me put him up against the Shore Trooper again. So he is smaller, about a head's height smaller. We've got the big fat head here with those sunken eyes that are surprisingly painted pretty decently. These get little beady eyes in there that look pretty good. There's a lot of paint work on that head to make the different colors of the hair kind of stand out. A little bit of dry brushing here and there, so that looks pretty solid. And then for the most part, he's just in kind of like a flight suit or a jumpsuit with what looks like a ring around the top for, like a helmet of some kind. So like, like a pilot's helmet or something like that. But he doesn't have one, obviously. Sculpted detail is pretty much all over the place on this guy. He has got a lot of pieces to him in terms of the overall detail with the flight jacket and the wrinkles and the buckles and the clasps. Not a ton of paint on the figure in general, but where it is pretty cleanly applied. So you've got kind of different browns and greens, and it's mostly spots of solid color, not a great deal of line work or anything like that throughout the figure, but what is there looks good, and then the paint on the head actually looks pretty decent as well. Sculpt wise, I think he looks all right. He is pretty close to what we see in the figure. I'm pretty happy with how he turned out. He comes with one accessory. We've got one accessory specific for him to hold anyway. We'll get to the other one. We've got kind of that standard Rebel Rebel blaster that we've gotten. It's actually got some paint on it. We've got silver paint on the scope and on the butt of the gun and on the barrel as well. So pretty good. As far as articulation goes, let me take this away because we're not going to need it here in a second anyway. We've got arms that can move, standard 5 POA really, and then we've got the legs that can go forward. The head can swivel. Again, it's on a ball joint just like the Shoretrooper, but his is a little more free moving, so you can actually get him to look pretty much straight on, but then he'll look like almost completely down as well, and it doesn't really mess up the look of the figure. That looks pretty solid to me. Now, he does come with another accessory. It's the kind of big, bulky, goofy pack-in for this figure, for this set, so let's take a look at that and what it actually does. All right, so here is the big extra goofy accessory that this particular 2-pack comes with. It's this humongous kind of backpack-style rocket launcher. So it just sits on top of him, and then he holds on to this particular arm, and it's got kind of like the control stick or the trigger. It's got 2 firing missiles, and it's got 2 buttons on the back, so you can fire them. And they shoot pretty decently, so nothing too crazy. I think they kind of had a bit of a missed opportunity to give him the U-Wings kind of ion cannon, because, that's what he does. He's the gunner for the U-Wing in Rogue One. But at the same time, I'm not sure how they really could have pulled that off in this particular scale, in this 2-pack. So at least they gave this figure the big gun. It would have been a huge miss if they had given it to the Shoretrooper. This guy doesn't need it, but this is kind of what he is. He's a gunner. So I think it's kind of cool in that regard, but at the same time, I don't ever need or ever display the figures with these big things. It also throws off his weight distribution, so you kind of have to lean him a little forward, which I'm sure you obviously expected because this thing weighs probably just as much as the figure. Other than that, though, aside from the little weight distribution problem, it's not too bad, and I do like the fact that the missiles fire, but again, I'm not going to use this on my shelf. So at the end of the day, not a bad 2-pack for, a pack that most people probably didn't think we were going to get. I don't know if we're ever going to see this in a retail store, so if you want to get it, get it online. We got 2 pretty cool characters. I like troopers, so the Shoretrooper Captain works for me, and I like the Captain style more so than the regular trooper, so that's a plus. And then Bistan is a pretty cool figure, pretty cool character, definitely a little more unique, so that's a plus on its own, just to get another different type of alien figure in the mix. Don't care about the little missile launcher add-on pack thing. That's a goofy add-in for this line, but I get why it's there. It's for kids, so that's cool. Just not for me. So that's going to do it for this look at the Shoretrooper Captain and Bistan 2-pack from the Rogue One 3 3/4 inch line from Hasbro. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time, guys.